All right, Parlayed in Full, Episode 3, NFL Week 3. Football season in full swing.
Yeah.
Chiefs-Ravens last week. A lot of good games last week, actually. But we'll start with Chiefs-Ravens. The Ravens, after looking iffy in Week 1 against the Raiders team, I didn't think was too good. The Ravens came out and showed they're going to be a major player in the AFC again.
Yeah, Lamar shut me up. I've been one of his biggest critics, but he played fantastic. And shout out to Hollywood Brown. Saw a headline. He had two girlfriends at the game.
2 girls, and they
he
get
balled.
along like I'm Lou Will. Yeah, he had that long touchdown too. Like Lamar kind of threw like a jump pass, but yeah, Lamar, great game. The going for it on 4th down. Hey, I knew the game was over when they showed on the TV Harbaugh. Lamar, you want to go for this? Like, there was no chance they weren't gonna get it at that point.
That's such a Harbaugh though. Like 4th and 1, if you punt there, you're a bitch.
Yeah.
And if you ask your quarterback, he's always going to say to go for it. If it's 4th and 4,
it was a no-brainer decision. It was a no-brainer decision that they turned into like a moment with each other. Like, and it was like they just took the most simplest thing, like 4th and 1, a chance to put the game away, and they made it like this dramatic, like, you know what, let's do it. We're going balls deep in this, but it was really just getting 1 yard the whole night for them was no issue with Lamar running the ball. And Chiefs should have won that game. Edwards-Helaire already didn't really have a good game, and then he fumbled right to give it back to them past midfield.
Well, what was the score when I went to bed? It was like 35-30.
Yeah, and you go, oh, Chiefs.
Don't worry. I'm going to bed. Chiefs will cover.
They did.
Good night.
They
didn't.
And then the Chiefs look beatable.
Yeah.
Well, obviously they are beatable. They lost, but they're not. They don't look like this juggernaut team that's running through even contenders like this. They struggled with the Browns, took 3 second-half turnovers to beat the Browns, and then all of a sudden they go to Baltimore and lose. So I think it'll be a telling sign what they do the next couple weeks. They're still going to win a lot of games and beat the Chiefs, but they definitely look more beatable this year in the AFC than they have in years past.
For sure.
And speaking of that division, the Las Vegas Raiders look like a real team.
Yeah, my Raiders.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you took their over wins and I took the under.
Yeah.
And what was it at, like 9.5, 8.5?
I think it was 8.5.
Yeah. So win over the Ravens, win over the Steelers. They look like they mean business. Derek Carr.
It was never in doubt. I don't think that the Raiders weren't going to be good this year. I mean, bringing Kenyon Drake, like, just solidifying. Like, Jacobs is always dinged up, it seemed.
Yeah.
They got speed out wide. Waller is a cheat code. It was really just.
But the thing with them, their defense has stepped up. Like,
yeah.
Their defense looks like a contending defense. Which in years past, their defense has been horrible. Like, just absolute dog shit. Give up 1,000 points a game. Like, they've been bad. They haven't been able to get pressure in years. All of a sudden, Max Crosby's always been good, but this year he's really turning up. But they just had
Ngannou has been
playing. They've had no secondary for years too, and now they're playing up on guys. Forcing quarterbacks to look bad so far. Pittsburgh, another NFL is gonna be chaos this year. Pittsburgh goes to Buffalo week 1, takes care of them, no harm, like no problem really.
Yeah.
And then they played Vegas in week 2, and like a game that again they were favored in, and it's like they didn't look good at all. The Raiders kind of handled them pretty easily. So the AFC is going to be a weird division this year, and the Raiders could very well put themselves in the mix. That's going to be a tough division though. Broncos 2-0, obviously the Chiefs are the Chiefs. The Raiders are 2-0, and the Chargers 1-1. Maybe should have won that last game against
Jay
Dallas.
Herbo.
Huh? Yeah, Jay Herbo. No limit.
That's so funny.
No limit Herbert, but they rough turn of events in that game for them. It was just a sloppy game back and forth. They looked all right week 1 against the football team, but that's going to be a grinded out division. Might be top of the top. I don't know how much I believe in the Broncos yet. They've had a pretty easy schedule. Who have they played? Jacksonville, and who'd they play week 1?
Shit, I'm drawing a blank.
The most boring team in football, Teddy Bridgewater, Melvin Gordon, like
Well, it also helps that
Important
he's hung like a horse.
Yeah. No,
When your quarterback is built like that, he's got all the confidence in the world.
37-14 against the spread in his career. Wow. That's unreal. That's unheard of.
Yeah,
that's unheard awesome. Of numbers, especially for a guy like Teddy Bridgewater. But Monday night last week, Aaron Rodgers announced that Week 1 was definitely a fluke.
Yeah.
He looked like Aaron Rodgers. That throw to Tunyon was crazy right over the defender's ear. Packers took care of business. Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. It was always going to be a fluke. I think he showed them in Week 1, though, that like they need him more than anything. They can't survive without him. And I think the message got across. And I think he showed Week 1 and Week 2 that depending on how he plays, he holds the cards for that whole team. Like,
right.
Defense or not, however, you have Devontae Adams, you have Aaron Jones. It doesn't matter if Aaron Rodgers doesn't want to win a game. And I still believe that in Week 1 he just didn't want to win that game. And I think he, kind of snapped back to reality in Week 2 and, dominated.
Wow. Snap back to reality. I heard a take
I got the Richie video in my head.
Yeah, me too. I heard a take that Rodgers looked like a deer that was just hit by a car after Week 1. Week 2, he shut him the fuck up. He played like we all know him. He played like the discount double check Aaron Rodgers of his prime.
It changed. He was before this game 16-4 against the spread after a double digit loss, and now 17-4, and then also 7-0 in the last 7 games that he lost by double digits the week before. So Rodgers still Rodgers. Nothing's changing there. The Packers are still going to be good. Team that's not going to be good, the New York Jets and Zach Wilson look fucking horrible.
Yeah.
It's
a shame.
Zach Wilson looks terrible. He looks worse than Geno Smith, worse than Trevor Siemian, worse than Sam Darnold, worse than Mark Sanchez, worse than everyone else they've had. Everyone. Worse than everyone. Deshaun Kaiser, he wasn't even a Jet. But Zach Wilson looks horrible. Luke Falk.
Yeah, Luke Falk.
Nick Falk was the kicker.
Yeah.
Luke Falk. Yeah. I mean, he looks horrible. I hope he figures it out. I don't hate him or anything, but they don't look good at all.
Only thing he's got going for him is the hot mom, and like he's a cute kid. Like if I saw him walking down the street, I'm gonna be like, you know what? You're a cutie pie.
Might have to call a pause on that one.
Well, let's just not take it.
I understand what you're saying. He does look like he's 4 years old still. Like he's got like baby fat. Like he just looks like a flag football phenom quarterback. Wow. And he's playing like absolute shit. Like the Patriots defense pretty good. Panthers defense pretty good, but still, what did he got? 6 interceptions in 2 weeks. I hope he figures it out. I like Robert Saleh. I hope the Jets figure it out.
Well, we both knew this was going to happen. We both took the under for their.
Like they're not good. And Zach Wilson it might have been too early to start him. He might have needed some time. Cleveland Browns hosted the Houston Texans for their home opener. They came in as 13.5 point favorites.
Yeah, opened at 12.
They win by 10, but they just looked a little shaky. They didn't leave me way insanely confident on this year, especially after the second half they came out and had against the Chiefs. I would have loved for them to come out and just dominate, take care of business in game 2 against a way lesser Texans team, but they really didn't do that.
Right. That first series that we had, I forget the way the plays went, but I look back at the game. We should be so fortunate that he muffed the punt right away.
That's it.
Without that it's a completely different ball game.
Yeah.
Probably a one possession game at the end of it. The way we played.
The next time they got the ball, which is really their first possession on offense, their scripted plays, whatever, they came out firing and
they scored.
Put it down our throat, with ease. So if that muff punt doesn't happen, you're probably talking about a 7-0 Houston Texans lead early on. And, fortunately, like you said, we took care of business. We end up winning by 10. Failed to cover, but still a good win. Felton had the big play. But, I'm not complaining. 1-1 in week 2 has been a rarity over the past couple over our lifetimes. So I'm not complaining, but I mean, you still, as a fan that has such high hopes for this year, and I still have high hopes. I haven't deterred on that at all. You would want them to come in and like just run through this team, but it's the National Football League. That's just not going to happen. Another token, who knows how this game plays out if Tyrod Taylor stays healthy as well. It's just like one of those things, uncontrollable, but I don't see it still being that wide of a victory if Tyrod Taylor is able to stay in.
Right. I think the fans had like such a big part in it, though. I was fortunate enough to be at the game.
Electric there.
I've never been in a home atmosphere like that besides Game 6 of the finals in 2016. Like it's up there with the Jake Paul fight. Like when
which is crazy.
When Myles
to say,
Garrett ran out, because I don't know why they only announced the defense, even though we started with the ball. When they said Myles Garrett's name, like I couldn't even hear my own scream. That's how loud it was. The only thing I was disappointed with, though, why are we booing Christian Kirksey? He was a great Brown. He was with us
100%,
through like the shit.
Dog pound through and through. Like there for 0-16, there for 1-15, there for all the bad years. He was a young linebacker on that good 2014 team that went 7-9. I mean, he was there all along, and it's not like he like requested a trade, requested to leave. Like it was just one of those things. Like new regime didn't want to bring him back, but he was a great player for us for so long. I know he dealt with some injuries.
Healthy,
yeah, but like booing him was it's a shitty move. It's like we got to be better as fans, like because Christian Kirksey loved it here. He fucking loved it here. I bet if it was like up to him, he'd probably still be here through Wits and all.
No, there's no doubt in my mind he would.
And honestly,
come back. We need him.
Yeah, we could still use him.
Actually, he was so shit in coverage. He looked like the same Kirko that we knew.
Yeah, I always love Kirko though. Like he always has a special place in my heart. All those players from that horrible team that still showed up every week, played with heart. There's only a select few. Terrell Pryor, the 1-15 year, he showed up to play every single week. Duke Johnson always gave everything.
He's free agent right now.
Yeah. I mean, if we didn't have Felton, I'd say, what would it hurt? But Pryor, Duke Johnson, Christian Kirksey, definitely. And hate to say it, but Jamar Taylor had a few big plays at 1-15 year.
I was not expecting that name.
No. Cody Kessler actually came out as a quarterback and gave it his all too. Like,
and then like his fame kind of like dwindled out, and then he was shit after like his hot streak.
He was pretty bad. He was like him and Kaiser were as bad as it gets. Kevin Hogan actually played another.
Oh my!
Just bad years. Makes you so grateful for Baker Mayfield.
Yeah. Speaking of shit quarterbacks, Fields is starting week 3.
I don't know if I can call him shit. I like Justin Fields.
I like him, but he's going to look so bad against us because their O-line is I could block just as good as the Chicago Bears can.
See, I don't know. I kind of disagree. I'm worried about this week. Rookie quarterback making his debut at home. A little shaky performance against the Texans last week for us. Like, Bears come out and get a win. I don't know. Something about this weekend makes me a little nervous. The fact that we opened up as 7.5-point underdogs too, or favorites, not underdogs, it just worries me a little bit. I like Fields. I think he's going to be effective, and I think he's going to cause a lot of problems for our defense. The way he's able to kind of get outside the pocket. Our linebackers just don't know how to do anything with, not even just mobile quarterbacks, like any quarterback that can move outside the pocket.
They probably would struggle with, if Phillip Rivers was on the Texans last game and he got out of the pocket, they'd be so confused.
It's like when quarterbacks get outside the pocket on us, our linebackers and our secondary kind of break down. And like it seems like, Mahomes was able to get yards at will when he wanted to go. And then also, I mean, the Tyreek Hill play was when he came out of pocket. And Tyrod Taylor gave us a fit in the first half of last week. Like, I just feel like Justin Fields is going to be able to do a lot of things that he wants against our defense. It's going to come down to, the offense being able to score against a good Bears defense. And then also making a big stop, getting a 3rd and third and 5, third and 4, not letting Fields get out the pocket, pick up 7, 8 yards on a run, making him throw a bad pass, incompletion, stuff like that. So I'm a little nervous for it. I think we win, but I would not bet on the cover.
I'm completely opposite to you, and I'm happy that you're worried, because I think we're gonna fucking rout them. Like 34-13, Browns win. Fields throws 3 interceptions. All 3 tight ends catch a receiving touchdown. I'm not worried whatsoever.
I'm nervous, but like I said, I think we win, and I say they don't cover, but I see that more as like a backdoor, like not covering. Like I just think the Bears will be able to put up some points on us. I hope the defense steps up. I hope it's a rout. Like I would rather see that 10 times out of 10, but I just feel a little bit like Justin Fields is going to give us some fits. But
well, it's a huge game for Joe Woods. His schemes have looked pretty bad the past 2 games.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
if we just need to press up. Like Denzel has been like targeted like he's not the Warden.
Yeah,
like, I don't know what his strategy is. But it's a big game for Joe Woods. I will not lose confidence in him. He's a great coach, but I know there's our fan base. Our toxic-ass fan base is on his ass right now.
Oh, yeah, always toxic, always short leash for defensive coordinators especially. But I do think, like, it is a big testament to him. You got to make the rookie quarterback look like a rookie quarterback. You can't let him come in make him look like a 15-year vet picking up first downs on third down, big play after big play. You can't let him look like it's a chess match against your defense. You got to make him uncomfortable. And speaking of Justin Fields, another team struggling, let's head to college football. His Ohio State Buckeyes do not look like the team they were touted to be coming into this year.
No.
Tulsa?
I didn't really watch that game. I was on the bus, so I'll let it go past, but I think C.J. Stroud not being in the Akron game is I've seen a lot of fans on Twitter being happy. I think that's going to make step back even farther. Because
you got a whole new.
If those 2 backups, I don't even know their names. If those
Quinn
2 backups,
Ewers.
He's not playing.
He's not.
No, it's like
a
walk-on.
Ohio State. I'm sorry.
Well, it's Akron.
Yeah. Still, last week it was just Tulsa.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago they were 15-point favorites against Oregon. At what point do we just call this team not being good? And they don't have an easy schedule. They still got Rutgers in 2 weeks, who, whatever the spread is, I like Rutgers. I'll say that right now. They still got to play Penn State. And Michigan's on a roll too. Yeah, that's 3 tough games, 3 very losable games. I'm not putting it past Ohio State to have 3 losses this year. I think they beat Rutgers, but I think it's closer than a lot of people think. But
closer than the experts think. And I think Michigan, they'll probably end up winning, but I don't think there's any way right now with the way these 2 teams are playing. They still got to play Iowa too, don't they? No. I just looked up their schedule. They got Rutgers, Indiana, Michigan State, Purdue, Penn State, Nebraska, Maryland.
And then Michigan.
Yeah.
Yeah, Michigan State is going to be a tough one. Rutgers not going to be as easy as it seems. Penn State, they might go in as underdogs. They probably will go in as underdogs. And then Michigan's going to be a dogfight, I think, this year. And I hope it is. I love when that game's competitive.
And it's at the Big House, too. I'm sure it'll be rocking.
Yep.
Big podcast that week.
And you know what? I know we've proclaimed on here, we're not Ohio State fans. But growing up, I took a sense of pride in being, an Ohio State hater and antagonist. And as I grew up, I kind of let that go because a lot of my friends, Ohio State fans, I just grew to, I didn't really root for them, but I didn't root against them. Now that they're starting to play a little bad again, I'm kind of getting joy seeing Ohio State fans and seeing Ohio State struggle. I get a little, when they lost to Oregon, which Oregon helmet right here, that made me happier than a hyena, but Antoine Jameson returning to the Cavs, how'd that make you feel? Happy as a hyena. But I'm taking a little sense of joy in seeing Ohio State Twitter burn down. Ohio State fans get a little nervous, and I honestly, I'll say it. I hope they lose 2 to 3 games this year, and I hope they lose to Michigan.
I don't want them to. I want them to lose another game just because I want the playoff to be different. That's the only reason. I'd like to see Penn State or Iowa slip in for the Big Ten.
Right now, I mean, yeah, I like Bama. Let's just Bama. Oregon's got a pretty easy schedule from here on out. Although I'm a fan of them, not too convinced on them still. I just that week 1 Fresno game is haunting me, and I know Fresno's good. We love Fresno. But I'm not too convinced on them. They played out of their minds against Ohio State, out of their minds, and they beat a team that's kind of struggling against other teams. How do they fare against, tough Pac-12 games and, maybe a Pac-12 championship and even in a playoff game? Like, I don't know, but getting there is not going to be easy for them. But right now it's looking like Bama, Oregon, Penn State, and
probably Georgia.
Yeah, 2 SEC teams again. Either Georgia or Clemson. If Georgia doesn't lose another game, Georgia. But even if they got that win over Clemson, it's like, how does Clemson get in?
No, I don't see Clemson getting in.
I hope not. They suck. Which we said. Episode 1, we said not sold on DJ Ukulele, not sold on Clemson. Don't know why they're getting all this hype and the big favoritism. And that's held true. Another thing that held true, what I said about Derek King and Miami, they're not good. Derek King, not that good. Miami sucks. They just shot themselves in the foot over and over again against Michigan State. We know our shit when it comes to college football, it seems like.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to make another prediction here. Ohio State loses 2 games this year. I don't think there's any chance they win out. It's not that bold of a prediction with the way they play.
It's really not.
But I think a lot of people still think they're going to win out, and I don't find that to be true at all.
That's kind of like a Richie take, like something very obvious. Like, oh, the Lakers are going to make the playoffs next
I didn't
season.
mean for it to be a bold prediction. I'm just saying that's another prediction I'm having because I'm, 2 for 2 with Clemson and Miami right now.
Yeah.
So, I not sold on Ohio State, not sold on Clemson. Another team not sold on at all, and they're not good. They're nothing to be sold on. But Wisconsin, Notre Dame this weekend, intriguing game. I don't know how Wisconsin's favored by 6 points.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
They looked horrible against Penn State. They bounced back a little bit. Notre Dame has also looked pretty bad, but the spread just doesn't seem right. This seems like maybe a 3-point spread. If I woke up and saw Notre Dame was favored in this game, I wouldn't have thought twice. It could have went either way. It shouldn't have been 6 points though.
Toledo, they're acting like Toledo isn't a bad team. Like, I get their MAC school, but
yeah,
they could beat some Power 5 schools.
Yeah, Toledo's good, and Wisconsin just isn't. Notre Dame just isn't. This is like a good game technically. Wisconsin, Notre Dame, ago. Big noon kick. Yeah, but also like big name teams. But this game's gonna suck. These 2 teams suck.
Yeah, it's a big snoozer.
Yeah, I mean, it might produce like good like results like betting wise, but just as a game, like these 2 teams are bad. And if I had to take a stance on it, as 6.5-point underdogs, I like Notre Dame because I think Wisconsin's just that bad. I don't like them at all.
I think the difference between these 2 teams is Wisconsin's defense is like just better than Notre Dame's.
Yeah.
And that's going to keep them in the ball game, whether it's...
But also, I will say this, and I hate Notre Dame, and I hate Notre Dame fans, and I hate giving Notre Dame compliments. And I know it's against Florida State, who's horrible, and I know it's against a MAC team in Toledo, a good MAC team in Toledo, but they found a way to win games. Like, they found a way to pull it out at the end. It shouldn't have been that close with either Toledo or Florida State, but each game, they found a way to win. And I think that says something about a team, especially in a game like this. Wisconsin found a way to lose against Penn State. Notre Dame's found ways to win against way worse teams, but they've still been able to find a way. And so I think if I had to give a stance on this game, I will stay away with it. I will stay away from it. But I like Notre Dame in this one.
Yeah, I like Notre Dame too, but more for the fact that I think if Cincy has even a glimpse of the playoff, they need Notre Dame to blow them out.
Yeah.
So then
Definitely.
when they play them next week, coming in.
I can't wait for that game, too.
Yeah, that's
I
awesome.
love watching Cincinnati. That game against Indiana last week was awesome. I know they struggled for a little bit. The announcer said at halftime, we're going to see what Cincinnati's really made of the second half. And he couldn't have been more right. Like, they showed what they were made of.
You know what they showed?
Moxie.
They showed some moxie.
They showed a lot of moxie. Desmond, I fucking love Desmond Ridder. Not just because of drafting him in Madden franchises. Pause, yeah. But I love Desmond Ridder. I love Cincinnati. I hope Luke Fickell stays there. I hope he doesn't take another job at like USC or something. But I like Cincinnati a lot. I can't wait to watch them play Notre Dame, and I hope they just smack the hell out of them. Where's that game at?
South Bend.
Oh man,
that'll. If they could go into South Bend and like beat them handily,
then take care of business the rest of the way through, win out.
Serious resume build.
Get Cincinnati in the playoff. I know it'll be tough if Bama wins out, Oregon wins out, and what will make it tough
is Clemson, Georgia, Penn State, and
if Penn State wins out, Bama wins out, Oregon wins out.
Those three are locks.
Georgia wins out, then loses to Bama though.
Oh. Damn it! I hope.
Then I think they would give it to Georgia, but I would love to see Cincinnati in there, and I'm gonna hope for it. I hope Penn State or someone loses along the way, not Oregon. Oregon and Bama are gonna win out. I'm not rooting for Bama to win out, but you can't root against it because it's just gonna happen.
Yeah.
And Oregon, I want them to win out, but I hope Penn State loses. I hope Georgia loses early because I want Cincinnati in. Imagine how crazy that would be before they.
We'd have to go down to Cincinnati for that game.
That would be insane. You hang out with Ian and Alec, Send new Pooh Shiesty. But, Cincinnati in the playoff would be awesome.
Hopefully it's not like a Washington scene, though. They just
I wouldn't even care. I just want them in there. Happy to be there. I would be happy for them to be there. Not even like
great look for the Big 12 too. Get out Texas and Oklahoma.
Exactly.
Come in
a better team. They're adding a better team. I don't know. I don't want to throw a better program label out there, but at the current rate, a better team.
Maybe in the past 10 years.
I never understood why Texas considered such a great program. It's been a dumpster fire.
Well, I don't really think we've been alive they've been like a good program. It was more like, we were alive. We just like.
But it's like still considered this head coach wants to go to Texas, needs to go to Texas. It's just like, why? They fucking sucked since Colt McCoy. Texas is never back in my eyes. Until they are holding the national championship trophy, they're never back. Last thing we really want to touch on is it's our last week. Sad. We got, Joe Carter, Albert Bell, Roberto Perez. We got a lot of Indian stuff up here. It's our last week as the Cleveland Indians.
Yeah, it's emotional. I could one of my most memories I remember as a kid, it was at my neighbor the Ribovich's house. I was probably 5 years old, and my neighbor asked me who are the Indians starting? Listed 1 through 9 and the starting pitcher. I used to be such a big Indians fan.
I love the Browns, and that's my number one passion now. But I will also say, across the course of my life, when I was younger, I was way more into baseball. There's been no team that's really brought me as much fun, especially over our lifetimes. They've been, the Cavs won the championship. Obviously, that's neither here nor there. That's what goes without saying. But the Indians, consistently good. They've had their down years, consistently good. They've brought me so much joy across 20 years of being a baseball fan. I mean, going from a kid, my heroes were Grady Sizemore and Travis Hafner. We've seen great pitching, CeCe Sabathia, Cliff Lee. And I know the Guardians, same team, same organization, but something about that name Indians, I understand why it has to go and everything. I don't really want to comment on that, but it's just, it's the end of an era.
Yeah, it's sad. I remember going to the Midge game against the Yankees. I went to the 2013 wild card game where we didn't score a run.
Jeremy Hellickson.
I went to the first Blue Jays game against in the ALCS, or no, that was DS, right?
Yeah, that was CS. We beat the Blue Jays to go to the
went to Game 7 of the World Series. That,
and coming off of the Cavs 2016 championship, like, as crazy as this is to say, that Indians postseason run in 2016 up until we lose to the Cubs,
it was better.
It was way
more.
There's something about October baseball. No,
like, we were supposed to lose to the Red Sox.
Yeah, and you go in and sweep them and dominate. You got Roberto Perez, who hit like 185 throughout the whole season.
He was
comes in, hits
MVP.
2 homers in Boston. Like, Lindor was just full of energy. That was at the height of like Mr. Smile, what they called him. And I always loved Lindor because of that year and that stretch of 2 years that he had here, 2016-17, absolutely insane. But that postseason run was so fun. Party at Napoli's. Trevor Bauer with the drone and thing, and then they pitched Ryan Merritt, and then
he was shaking his boots.
And that team was just something special. Kipnis grabbing home plate in Game 7. World Series Game 1, Kluber dominated. We dominated it was on the same night, I think, as the Cavs had the ring ceremony.
I know one of the games in the World Series was. I don't remember which one.
I'm pretty sure it was that one, Game 1, Cavs ring ceremony. Just a great night. Kluber dominated. We looked so good. Like, and then we go up 3-1 on them, and obviously heartbreak sets in. But even that Game 7, like, that Rajai Davis home run is, as far as emotional go, I was just as happy when Rajai Davis hit that homer than I was when the Cavs were.
Because that was the 8th inning when you hit it. I was so prepared, like, 9th inning we're gonna have a walk-off home run or walk-off hit.
I was prepared to lose. I was
really?
I was like, Chapman's in. Like, I just didn't see us coming out of this.
No, we had to hit after the home run. Like,
after the home run, I was like, we're gonna win this game.
Yeah,
we're gonna win this fucking game, like, somehow. Because we
played like Mother Nature. Fuck you.
We played like, and fuck you, Jason Hayward. We played like absolute shit that game. We did not play good. We didn't deserve the win until the 5th inning and up. And
was Rajai Davis wearing a fighting?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
He was real choked up on his bat, remember?
Yeah.
And just an iconic moment. 2 happiest moments in my life are Cavs winning the finals and Rajai Davis's home run. There's no moment. And the Browns playoff win last year against Pittsburgh. 3 moments, 3 different teams. But the fact that, like, I think that applies to what I'm saying about the Indians. Like, we lost that game, and that moment's still up there. Like, that's how bad I wanted that World Series. Unfortunately, we missed our window. We've, maybe we need the name change. We've lost 6 straight in the we've lost 8 straight in the postseason. We're 2-11 in our last 13. It's maybe we need the name change. Maybe that's what.
Well, we didn't work with the Spiders. We were just horrific with them. Yeah. So maybe the Guardians is sometimes you just need a total rehaul.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sad about it, but it is what it is. We'll be at the last game as the Indians on next Monday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, next Monday we'll be there. We got some content planned. We'll see how it goes. We gotta stay tuned for that because that should be hilarious. But you ready for the pick 6?
Yeah.
All right. You want to lead it off?
Yeah. My first pick, Buffalo minus 13.5 against Old Dominion. I've been fading Old Dominion the 2 times we did it. Still the worst program in history. Buffalo didn't look that good against Coastal Carolina, which definitely helps this line. But 13.5 is just far too low for an offensive juggernaut like Buffalo is in a shit program like Old Dominion.
A little struggle there.
Yeah. Getting schools mixed up.
My first one, Thursday Night Football. Christian McCaffrey over 52.5 receiving yards. They're playing against the Houston Texans. Horrible defense. He's gone 89 and 61 in his last 2 games as far as receiving yards go. I don't think there's any way he goes below here. I like the over there.
My second I'm gonna go Arkansas plus 5.5 or plus 5 against Texas A&M. A&M's got their backup quarterback in. Arkansas 3-0 against the spread thus far, and I think the Hogs are back. Honestly, I really do. So I'm just gonna analytically, it seems right to go with them again.
My second pick, list game for Auburn, playing against Georgia State. They lost to Penn State last week. I think they can come out with a vengeance this week. I'll take their first half spread minus 15.5 against Georgia State.
First half?
Yeah, minus 15.5 first half.
I don't know if you're planning on doing this one, but I'm just gonna steal it. Michigan and Rutgers over 49.5.
Wow.
Both.
I should have said that for my I was going to, but I was like, I want to save the...
Both
wow.
Pretty good offenses. It's a primetime game. Katie Stats, lock of the week. Not much more to help back it up than that.
So then, well, my third pick was going to be that, but I'll come on Auburn.
You can still pick it.
Yeah, we'll ride one pick together. What's that gonna hurt? Rutgers Michigan over 49.5.
Shit, you just jinxed it.
Yeah, I know. That's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt even more. So yeah, I'll stick with it. Katie Stats again. We're Katie Stats riders over here. So we'll stick with the Rutgers Michigan over.
My fourth pick, I like the Bucks and Rams.
Your third pick.
Was that third? No, I went Buffalo, Arkansas, and the over. That was your third pick.
Yeah, correct. No. Oh, yeah. I forgot about Auburn.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I like the Bucks and Rams over 55.5. Two powerful offenses that'll just throw the ball out of the stadium if they need to.
Fourth for me, two good defenses, two not so great offenses. Notre Dame, Wisconsin under 46.
Fresno minus 30 against UNLV is my fifth pick. Very high line, but the Dogs are going to roll. The Running Rebels, my former AAU team, just not it this year. Tate Martell, biggest bust of college football history. So that's just a simple fade, Tate.
Fifth pick for me, Seattle Seahawks minus 1.5 against the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota hasn't done much to prove to me that they can beat Seattle. I like Seattle. I think Russ puts up a ton of points on this Minnesota defense. And, I know Minnesota almost pulled one out last week against Arizona, but, I'm not a big believer in them. I think they're going to be a horrible team this year. I'll go Seattle minus 1.5.
This might be my least favorite pick, but I'm taking over 66.5 in the Ohio State-Akron game.
Okay.
I don't even want to say anything about it. I'm just taking the over in them.
Last but not least, Arizona Cardinals. I'm outside of the football number here, but minus 7.5 against the horrible, horrible Jacksonville Jaguars. Kyler's on a roll. Cardinals look like a good team. I think they come in here and absolutely steamroll Jacksonville. I thought this line would be way higher than it was. Honestly, when I looked at this game, I thought this would be a 9.5, 10.5 point line, but 7.5 I think is too low for me to pass up. That's my last pick. Is that it?
Yeah.
All right. So episode 3 in the books. We should have some content come, like I said, from the Indians game next week. Episode 4 next week. We're going to try and hit 2 episodes a week, maybe integrate some drafts, some other content rather than sports. So we've got a lot planned. Stick with us and make sure to like and subscribe. Anything else?
Follow our TikTok too at Parlayed in Full.
Yeah.
Potential Muni lot on Sunday.
Yeah. Without
some interviews.
We'll be tailgating Sunday.
Chirping
so
some.
There'll be a lot going. A lot planned for next week. Actually, It's going to be a big week. Go Ducks. Go Gators. Go Tribe. Go Dodgers. We'll see you guys.